Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining us, as always, is your co-host, Jim.
I got nothing witty.
That's fine. You don't have... You get a pass.
Intense pressure, though.
No pressure. You get a pass for a while. I mean, with all the shit going on, you get a pass. Excuse my language. You get a pass.
Yeah, that reminds me. For the people up in Pennsylvania, how about them Browns?
Yeah. What happened to Pennsylvania? Because I don't know.
There was a big upset.
People in Pennsylvania were like, "Oh, thank God that 2020 bullshit's over with," and then 2021 was like, "Browns shut out the Steelers."
Oh,
yeah, it was a big upset.
Oh yeah. Well, I got nothing against Pittsburgh. If it was Philadelphia, I'd be laughing. But if it's Pittsburgh, I don't care. Because who cares about Pittsburgh? Really, let's be honest.
Pittsburgh has more fans in Ohio probably than in Pennsylvania.
I would not be surprised.
That's the truth.
Would not be surprised.
It's like if you live in Canton or Youngstown, you have to have like a reversible jacket with like Steelers on the inside, Browns on the outside. So whatever side of town you're on, you flip your jacket inside out.
I'm laughing because I've experienced this. Yes.
Oh God. I am honestly not surprised. Also joining us is your co-host Hunter.
I am here.
And your co-host Spaz.
It is the year that never ends.
Yeah, happy physical, like it is actually New Year. Happy New Year. It's our first podcast of 2021.
Welcome to the future.
And wow, yeah, no, please no flying cars. Please no flying cars. People can barely handle 2 dimensions. Let's not give them a third. Okay, let's just not. Or rocket packs. None of that.
George Jetson.
None of that. No rocket packs, no flying cars. It's a terrible idea. It's just a terrible idea. Folks,
I'd like a refund on this future. A little disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, LA looks nothing like Blade Runner. Absolutely nothing like they foresaw in Blade Runner. Not at all. And in a way that's probably
to begin again in the off-world colonies.
In a way that's probably a good thing, because you watch Blade Runner 2049, you're like, oh wow, I would not want to live in this world, like at all. Like no, I would not. No. It's a great movie, but I would not want to live there. Man, no.
Little Blade Runner cast for a second here, man. Like when he goes out into like the wastelands to go to that orphanage.
The wastelands of San Diego. Yeah, right. That's when I realized I don't. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm right there with you. I'm just like, oh boy, the future, huh? Okay.
That's what
But when he went to Vegas and like everything was just orange. Right. And then you guys had those wildfires this year and it totally looked just like
It really did. It really did. It was scary.
That was wild.
Was that this year? I don't think that was this. Was that this year?
That was August.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Which August?
As some of you know, I had to evacuate.
Oh, right.
The third August
that was
2020.
Dear God.
That was August.
It's like Hobbit's second breakfast. It's like we had 3rd August.
The real dystopia was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, that was the exact moment, Hunter, that you bring up that I was like, I don't want to live in this future. No. It's the exact
it's interesting because like I always felt like Blade Runner, the first one was interesting and grimy. And then like this takes place well after that, and you're just like, yeah, it's shinier, but like more terrible. Like it's just like it's even more in the future, but like worse. So
things are getting better.
I'd almost take like a grimy, wet future over like destruction. Anyway,
right.
but yeah.
Yeah, so happy happy as happy can be 2021, y'all. I mean, damn. We are.
It's still March. It still feels like March.
I mean, March will be here before we know it.
I think my favorite were the tweets were like on like the 6th or 7th. It's like I've tried 2021 for my 7-day trial period. I'd like a refund. You know. Anyway, games, folks.
Interesting news, right? I mean, 2021 is already bringing interesting news.
Yeah, folks, we don't really have a set topic tonight. We're just gonna, as I titled this, shoot the shinola. And the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the news from yesterday. Was that yesterday? Oh my God, that was yesterday. How does that feel like it was a week ago? It was yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Folks, yesterday. There was an announcement, a very brief announcement. The whole announcement is 2 paragraphs and a sizzle reel that is less than 2 minutes.
The announcement also kind of felt like it was muddled under someone's breath, like, by the way.
Yeah, right? It's like, hey guys, by the way, we're doing Lucasfilm again. Like, wait, what? Wait a minute.
It's like we're bringing back LucasArts. What? It's called Lucasfilm, but it's LucasArts. It's just like,
wait. So are we gonna start
Lucas what?
So wait, you're doing Lucasfilm. Does that mean we're gonna start doing? Well, I mean, they've already kind of teased today. They teased a new Indiana Jones game.
Well, it's Lucas. To be clear, it's Lucasfilm Games.
Yes,
is what it's called.
Lucasfilm Games. We don't know exactly what that means. Does that mean it's a new, like, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean they're going to be like, because if I recall, didn't LucasArts and Lucas, sorry, go ahead.
Well, they said that it all falls underneath, like, all Star Wars, like all game titles will like fall underneath this new thing. So I mean, moving forward. So what's interesting about that though is someone even brought it up. Does that mean then that we're going to start to see a divergence from EA being the sole Star Wars thing? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, I don't know, because according to all the information that I was seeing is that like Disney and EA came out with a deal for Star Wars games. I don't know if that means necessarily like all Lucas products. So
yeah, it's weird.
EA could still technically be taking on the Star Wars stuff while Lucasfilm Games is outsourcing stuff to other companies. But there's an interesting Forbes article that goes on, talks about that we might actually start seeing just a general like push away from EA being the sole owner of all of that to a more broader topic.
Like, because they have a 10-year deal that they started in 2013 between EA and Lucas, I guess, whatever, Arts, to make Star Wars games. But that doesn't mean now that other people, I wonder if this means we're going to see Star Wars games from other people now.
Well, what I would love to see, because what we used to get is we got, with LucasArts being like the whatever, they would just pitch stuff out to all kinds of game studios. Like anybody who wanted to get like the rights to like make a game, they like would almost just say yes to everything. So they'd like cast a wide net, which means we got a lot of games. Doesn't mean that they were all good, but we got way more than what we've been getting, right? Yeah,
like the X-Wing series was done by Totally Games. That was not an internal LucasArts thing.
Right, or we got stuff like Rogue Squadron, which is arguably pretty good, even like depending on like PC or N64. It was still
Factor 5. Is that what they're
Factor 5?
Factor 5, yeah.
So is Disney going to open this up under the Disney umbrella?
We don't.
Okay, because my thing is somebody there is looking with great regret on how they've eaten a poop sandwich ever since they shut LucasArts down. And like they had that debacle with EA trying and failing to make Star Wars games.
They started and canceled, I think, at least 4 major Star Wars projects.
Right.
And when they took over, they like closed LucasArts down and killed in process 1313, which I'm seeing Lucasfilm Games. I'm like, can we like maybe spin that back up?
Yeah, but they still have it. Yeah, they still have their mitts on it. Yeah.
Right. And so like one of the big announcements though from this Lucasfilm Games is Bethesda is going to be working on an Indiana Jones game.
Bethesda.
Of all people.
Of what? Bethesda.
Of all companies, I guess I should say. Of all companies under the Lucasfilm Games label, this is going to be, and so Bethesda being owned by Microsoft obviously means that there's going to be a strong inkling for it to be on Xbox, on PC, in the Game Pass like library. So I mean that's huge.
Right. It's massive, and my hope is that it's just not taking away resources from Elder Scrolls 6. That's my hope. God darn it. But yeah, like, are we gonna see flight sims again from these guys? Like, look how well Microsoft Flight Simulator has done. Look how well DCS has done. Does that mean we're gonna be like, Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe 2?
I mean,
Or,
with squadrons having, and I will say, relative success, right?
It was successful. There's no denying it was successful.
Sell a lot. It did sell a lot.
That's how it was successful.
And with the recent patches and stuff like that, and adding more content and actually listening to the community, I think we could see a potential return to. I mean, hell, if they're going to do another Indiana Jones game, like there's no telling what they could potentially be going forward with. Because I mean, they're getting ready to also release the Skywalker Saga Lego series, which will include redone versions of all of the other like Star Wars Lego games into like one new package. So it's not going to be just like the same games rolled into this one with like 7, 8, and 9 in it. They're redoing the whole thing together, which I think is pretty spectacular. Because I'm a big fan of the Lego games. I mean, say what you will about 7, 8, and 9. They weren't that great of films, but I will play those Lego games because the Lego games are typically fun.
Yeah, I can't think of a bad Lego game. Has there been one? I don't. Those people?
I haven't played a lot of the like comic booky stuff, so I haven't done like a lot of the Batmans. I haven't done a lot of the Indiana Jones stuff, but I did do all the Jurassic Park stuff. I've done all the Harry Potter ones. I've done all the Star ones, and those have all been fantastic.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. Those guys knock it out of the park. Like,
the Hobbit
every
ones,
time.
Lord of the Ring ones. Yeah, those have all been really good.
Yeah, they've all been great. So yeah, I mean that's some of the best Star Wars to come out in a while. Maybe.
I mean, for what it's worth, the Lego games almost felt like the Star Wars games to be getting because they were like the only things that were coming out.
That's right. For a while they were good. Yeah,
so.
For a while they were, but like for ages we got tons of, and it wasn't just Star Wars stuff we were getting from LucasArts. I mean, we got the X-Wing games, we got Rebellion, we got Racer, we got all this stuff, but we also got crazy stuff like Afterlife. Remember Afterlife? The Heaven and Hell City Builder that they released.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think LucasArts was predominantly more active in the 80s and 90s with with a variety of games. Yeah. So I mean, like like Battlehawks 1942 was late 80s game from them. That's just an example. But you have like the Monkey Island stuff. So when they were doing some of their more like adventure games, or when they did what was that motorcycle one?
Full Throttle.
I can't believe Full Throttle. Thank you.
Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango. These Day of the Tentacle, stuff like that. So I mean, they were all like over like the late 80s and 90s games. The TIE Fighter. You had the Super Star Wars series for the Super Nintendo. A lot of those games, were really good. I thought. Yeah. Episode 1 Racer.
So good. So. And they put out a lot of good stuff, and they put out a lot of not so good stuff. But I mean, the Dig. Thank you, Target. That's a great one.
When you cast a wide net, not everything's going to be good, but you're going to have gems in there.
Masters of Terrascasi was an interesting idea, but poorly executed.
I will go to bat for Yoda Stories and Indiana Jones Desktop Adventures. I love those little tiny roguelike, whatever those things were, games. I played the hell out of those. But Lucasfilm did a lot of different stuff. And it wasn't just Star Wars games. They did a lot of Star Wars games, but they did a lot of stuff else. So are we going to see that again? I guess that's my big question. Are we going to see that kind of variety?
I think they ramped up. Right, I think they ramped up their Star Wars games, especially in the early 2000s, because of the prequel movies. Right?
Oh, so absolutely.
That's where we got like the glutton of Star Wars games. I mean, we like Racer Arcade, Starfighter, Super Bombad Racing, Galactic Battlegrounds.
Super Bombad. Oh my
Obi-Wan, which was like an Xbox exclusive. Racer's Revenge. Right. The Clone Wars was not that great of a game. Bounty Hunter was okay-ish.
Yeah, I didn't play a lot of these.
Yeah, I mean, you're not missing much on some of these ones that just didn't really get a lot of good,
You know what?
Empire at War was an interesting one. It's a take it or leave it kind of thing. I think the modding community is what kept that game really alive.
Yeah.
Because the base game was just kind of bland.
We better get Jedi Starfighter 2. That's all I'm saying, because that game was
Jedi Starfighter
bad crap. That game was bad crap great. It was so stupid. But it was great.
The Force Unleashed series was interesting because it wasn't really like canonical Star Wars in any sense of anything, but it was a hell of a lot of fun to play.
Oh, really? I never played them because I heard they weren't that great, but they were fun.
Yeah, you're just a stupid force wielder just going ape shit on everything. It's really, I mean, like the story is not even really interesting in my opinion. It's just like you're just running around just being stupid with force powers and blowing stuff up and. Yeah,
a power fantasy more than anything else.
Right. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. So.
Yeah. Isn't that one of the games where he pulls a Star Destroyer out of orbit or something?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty dumb.
Woohoo!
I mean, considering what I saw on the movie screen in 7, 8, and 9, it's not too dumb these days. But I mean, like.
I feel like it almost gave those movies permission to do stuff.
It's a way of putting
I still have to see 9 at some point. I will, but I'm not in a rush.
Well. It's like if it's on like USA or something one day, and you're just like doing laundry or something, maybe.
I have Disney Plus, but it's like what I'd rather watch others. Like I need to finish The Expanse. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna start watching.
If you actually sit on the controller and it starts playing, I mean, maybe like, that's
just wait for the riff tracks. That's the most digestible.
It's already been ripped.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, they did not hesitate.
Did they fix it?
I'm gonna.
I've watched. I actually did a binge watch last year of all of those movies, Rift, and it was great.
Okay, well, maybe I'm
gonna have to add that to my list. Then I didn't realize they had already riff tracks.
I did not either. Okay, I'm gonna have to talk to the wife because we have Disney Plus, so we could watch technically all of them. So I'll have to see if we can riff those. God damn.
Yeah, count how many Jack Tono Porkins references they make in just those movies, and then count how many they do in all of the other ones they riff, because it's a long running joke.
Nice.
Jack Porkins? You mean Jack Tono Porkins?
So yeah, I mean, it's weird that they kind of threw this announcement out there, and like, it's like. It doesn't even feel like a tease, it just feels like a breath on the wind. Like, wait, what? Did I hear that right? What?
Yeah, because I mean, if you go and look at the Indiana Jones like teaser, it's literally just that. It's just like you're not even sure it's Indiana Jones until they tell you it's Indiana Jones. Like, and you see the whip at the end of like the little teaser. You're like, what?
You see the whip. You're like, oh, okay. I guess this is Indiana Jones. Like, this could be Uncharted or Tomb Raider.
Like, it literally the music didn't quite give it away either because they didn't do like the full like little theme in there. You're just like, you only know it's Indiana Jones because the title on the video says it is. So it's like, yeah.
So
to its credit, that makes it a good teaser.
That's true, but
I maybe like I just don't know if the teaser. I don't know if the teaser did nothing for me. It was just like they could. The teaser to me, the teaser was just like saying Indiana Jones game. So it's just like if you had told me an Indiana Jones game, or if I had seen this, I would have like had the same level of. So.
I think for me, this speaks to a bigger problem is that I hate teasers, like they do teasers for everything now. Like, here's the teaser for the trailer. I'm like, no, just show me the god darn trailer. I don't want a teaser for a trailer.
Yeah,
stop
trailer
it
for the trailer.
Well, yeah, stop it.
Well, there is a reason why they do that. It's all marketing.
I know, and I'm in marketing, and I still hate it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't mean that marketing is great or that it's done well. It's the reason why they do it.
Yeah, it gets views. It seems to work, I guess. People watch it. I'm dumb enough to watch it. So like, but still, it's like, just show us stuff already. Like, stop beating around the bush. It makes it feel half-assed. When they just throw up a 2-paragraph thing like that. You know, just it feels really, really half-assed.
Well, there's a psychological aspect to that too. There was an article quite a while back. Yeah, that when movie trailers reveal so much of the plot because they spoil it already, they do it on purpose because people know what to expect when they're going into it. And they enjoy the movie more despite the fact that they've been spoiled about the major plot because they know what to expect.
They already had an appropriate expectation level set. Like,
yeah, you could say, yeah, exactly. That they sort of know the direction the story is going to go. If there are too many twists that are not at all spoiled beforehand, people tend to get confused. Not to say that they're stupid necessarily, but just because, wait, this comes out of nowhere. I was expecting to see a different kind of movie. Event Horizon is one example. People maybe went to see it thinking it was one kind of movie, and it was not.
That was me.
It was a different kind of movie. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I went expecting some kind of space adventure, and will never freaking watch that movie ever again. Because it messed me up. It messed me up big time. They got me. They totally got me. It's like, oh, a space adventure with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. Yay, that's great. I'll go watch it. What's happening? Oh my god. This isn't what I signed up for.
It's weird for sure.
You know, but if you spoil it too much, then you don't get anything like whenever everybody sat in the opening of The Matrix in '99 and had not a clue what that movie was about, right? And it's like you get like halfway through the movie and you still don't know what this movie's about, right? And then it can actually like surprise the hell out of you, which was my experience. That's why I found that movie so profound. Was just I had no idea. I knew there was it was like some kind of like cool kung fu something going on, you know, like a probably yeah. Well, they didn't even give that away, but I knew it was some kind of like sci-fi kung fu Blade Runner-y something, you know. And it's like, okay, cool, I'm down for that. But then when you sit in the theater and then that thing just totally like goes it doesn't like defy or surpass your expectations. It just goes to a different place entirely, right? And it's just like, wow, I had no idea I was about to get this. That's great. But if the trailer just says, you know, like, hey, here's this movie and here's all the people that are going to be in it and this is what it's about and here's kind of how it ends. Okay.
You guys make a good point.
There is something to say though about like not seeing a trailer for a movie, because I remember when I went to go see World's End with a buddy of mine. So like that Simon Pegg movie, right?
Yeah.
So I was a big fan of Simon Pegg. So like I remember, you know, watching Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and being like, man, I love this guy. He's got great stuff. Especially after Hot Fuzz, I was like, dude, this guy's great. And so my buddy's like, hey, we're going to go see that new Simon Pegg movie. And I was like, I didn't remember seeing anything about it. I don't remember watching trailers for it. They're like, well, just come with us. It was like literally the day of. And I was like, all right, cool. I remember like sitting down watching going in to watch this movie, knowing nothing about it. And so if you know, spoilers though, like if you know nothing about this film, the first like 15, 20 minutes of this film, you just think of like you're watching this film about like this loser guy who's just like having a hard time living his life because he never could get past like the best day of his life, according to him. Then the movie takes a radically left turn.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different movie than what you think it is.
Yes.
And up until that moment, I was like, man, what did you bring me to watch? Like, this is not as funny, or like, it was funny, but like, it wasn't as interesting as Hot Fuzz, or it didn't. Up until that moment, if you know nothing about the film, it just seems like, I don't know. I guess they're doing a serious movie or like a semi-serious comedy movie. And left turn happens and you're just like, I'm in, let's go.
I went in too, like not knowing that none of that stuff was going to happen. Like I saw it at a movie day. We did the whole Cornetto trilogy at a movie day here, and that was the one movie I had not seen. And people were like, "Oh, just wait," but they didn't tell me anything else. I'm like, "What are you talking about? This looks stupid." Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Just bathroom scene at the pub changes everything. And I know that sounds weird saying it like that, but if you've
true,
not
though.
seen the movie,
True though.
wait, just wait.
I mean, it's great. It's no Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is just a sublime.
I think Hot Fuzz is still king for me.
Oh
on
God,
those
yes.
on those 3 movies. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that movie was very unexpected. I mean, it's like they took a lot of what they learned from the first 2 movies, because it followed a little more of the first of Shaun of the Dead more than it did Hot Fuzz in terms of how it revealed things and its pacing and whatnot. But it was still its own thing. So I
wonder if anybody ever said, "Hey, let's go see that new Simon Pegg movie," and it was like 2009 Star Trek.
Can't say so. No.
Well, he was one of the reasons I did see it. I'm like, okay,
Same
I like
here.
Simon Pegg and I like Zachary Quinto. I'll give this a and I think I love Star Trek. I'll give it a shot.
Well, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I keep watching the Mission Impossible films, is because they've given him bigger roles in those movies too.
I still need to see like 3 of
Space
those.
Milkshake?
What?
I have.
Space
I have seen
Milkshake.
Space Milkshake. Yes.
What is? Wait.
It's a Simon Pegg movie.
It is. It's a different movie than what you'd expect.
What? I've never heard. From 2012.
I have not seen this one.
Blue Collar Astronauts.
I did unfortunately see Paul. Paul wasn't that great either.
Wow, Amanda Tapping, George Takei,
Yep.
Billy Boyd. What?
Yeah. George Takei is, let's just say he has an interesting character.
Look, I don't.
This is one of those movies where everybody's slumming, right?
Yeah,
It's just like,
absolutely.
If I was to be allowed to have one cheat celebrity, whatever, it'd be Amanda Tapping. I'm sorry. That one's amazing. She is. She's a great actress. I freaking love her and everything that she's done.
Oh, I will add this to my watch list on Just Watch.
And screw whoever it was that decided to cancel Travelers, because god dang, that was getting interesting. It was so good.
I never saw that one. Travelers?
Yeah, even for the short 2 seasons they did, I think.
I think 2. Yeah.
It was either 2 or 3. Yeah. It was 3. Okay. For the short 3 seasons that they did, it's very well worth the watch.
Oh, it's on Netflix. All right. Add that to the list.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where you're not fully sure what's going on. Like at first, like they kind of explain it, but like as the first season goes on, it like you're like, okay. Yeah. Because the first episode, I was like, what is this? This is weird. And then I just kept watching and I was like, I'm hooked.
That was pretty much my reaction to it too. Yeah. I was pretty hooked on it.
I'll have to give it a shot. Yeah, it's on Netflix. 3 seasons. I will definitely give it. Does it have not a good ending, or does it have a good ending?
It has a reasonable ending, I would say.
Okay, that's good. Because sometimes I'll hear about a show and someone will be like, "But they canceled it. It didn't end well." It's like, well, why am I going to watch that then? You know?
I wouldn't say it has necessarily a bad, like, negative ending. It just has an interesting ending where it's just like, all right.
Does it feel like an ending, or does it feel like they left it hanging?
Sure. I mean, I feel like they left it to a spot where they could have. It's one of those ones where it's an ending where they could keep going on, but where it stops, you're like, all right.
Okay, that's good. I'm okay when they do it like that.
That's my interpretation. Maybe, I don't know.
I'd say, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen the show.
I would have liked more. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved more, but like I feel like where it ends, it doesn't leave you hanging like Stargate Universe. That's for sure. Or like, you know, where they give you like a season of a show that ends on a major cliffhanger, and then they're like, "Well, it's canceled," and you're like, "Really?"
I hate that. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the show Terriers. It's really great, and it's also on Netflix. And it's only 1 season. It's an amazing season, but it's only 1 season. But they ended in such a way they're like, all right, that's fine.
Is that a show about dogs?
No, it's a show about two private investigators. And it's amazing. It's so amazing. But yeah, it was only one season. But I think it's also on Netflix. Double check that. But
The one I watched last week was Into the Night, also on Netflix.
Into the Night. Oh, it's on Hulu now. Terriers is on Hulu now. Into the Night?
Yeah, Into the Night is. It starts with, and again, not spoiling anything because
Welcome to Space Junkie TV Cast.
It starts with the hijacking of an aircraft.
Oh.
And as it progresses through that first episode, it gets kind of dark because the sunlight, there's some sort of gamma radiation, and it's killing everyone who's on the ground. And so it's a post-apocalyptic or as it's happening apocalyptic scenario that only people who are in the air at the same time as that's happening are able to survive. So if you're out in the daylight, you're dead.
Oh.
And so this plane has to, with the handful of people who are still on it, are trying to avoid the daylight.
Oh.
And it goes from there. It's one season right now. As far as I know, it's been renewed for another season, and they left it in a good place where they've got a hook for the next season.
Yeah, my major disappointment was watching Terra Nova. I was so mad.
Oh, yeah. And yet that one is... Oh, wait, no, not Terra Nova. Sorry, I was thinking of a different one that has been renewed, but I'm not sure why.
Well, Terra Nova was an interesting one because the premise of the film was, like, in the future, the Earth's pollution has gotten so terribly bad that, like, people are dying because, like, the air quality is just terrible. And so they have invented this, like, it's not necessarily time travel as like standard time travel. It's not like Back to the Future time travel where you're just going back in time of the same like timeline you're on. You go like back in time into like a parallel timeline or like, and the way that they implement this is they send people back 85 million years into like prehistoric Earth when like there's no chance that humankind could really have that big of an impact on the future yet. And it was supposedly really interesting, but like there's like some like intrigue because there's ways to communicate with the future / other timelines still, and there's a lot of people like that were like fighting for power and control, and it just like ended on this big old cliffhanger, and then you're just kind of like, well, now I'm never gonna know what happens. I hate
the one I was thinking of that was renewed, and I'm not sure why, was Another Life.
Oh. Yeah, that was a sci-fi show that didn't know what it was. Like, it didn't know what sci-fi show it was.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
That's
why I say it got renewed, and I'm not sure why.
I don't understand why either, because it has a great cast. I'll give it that. But it didn't. The overarching plot was also interesting. But they kind of tried to make it episodic in a weird way to where like one of the episodes was like straight up alien. Like literally it was like an episode like that was like, you know, it could have been like a mini version of the Alien movie. And it's the one where like it's the one with the girl's nervous system like comes to life or whatever it is and pops out of her back or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes.
That sounds like a cool movie, right? Like, what happened? It's like your nerves just jump out of your back, right? Like,
it has some cool ideas going on, and some of the execution is interesting. I just don't know where they're going with it.
Right. Well, I mean, like every single episode, it felt self-contained to the point of like that could be an interesting premise, but it wasn't the premise to the overall show. And you're like, well, why did we even see that? Like, it was cool, but like, what does this episode have to do with the plot of what's going on around them? Because it doesn't. Like, there's just like little.
It feels like an anthology more than.
Right. Yeah. Like each of the, you feel like each of these episodes should be like its own little anthology story of something, but they're all somehow like crammed together to make one long story, and you're like, how does this even work? I just like I don't know. Because it's got Katie Sackhoff in it, who played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, and I really like her, and she's fantastic as Bo-Katan in Mandalorian. You know, and she was really good in the Riddick movie, and you know, so like I'm a fan of her as like a, you know, being the leading role in this show.
I liked her in Halloween 2.
I like the cast.
Right.
I really like the cast. They got good people doing what they're doing. It just feels disjointed.
Yeah, so maybe season 2 will bring it all together, and it'll be like things will make more sense in season 2. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where they're going. Like Spaz says, I have no idea where they're going with it.
Well, that we got off games real quick, didn't we? You talked about trailers. Next thing you know, it's the Space Game Junkie TV cast, like you said. Thank God.
I mean, we can talk more games. So, like,
no, it's fine. I just think it's funny.
I
just think it's funny.
You guys got any predictions for 2021? Like, what kind of games you're looking forward to?
I have no freaking idea anymore. I don't know what's going to come out this year. Maybe Star Sector will come out. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to the potential release of Halo Infinite, or whatever it's called, Halo Infinity or Halo Infinite, I guess. That was supposed to come out with the launch of the Xbox, but it's actually gotten delayed till next holiday season. So
oh crap!
This upcoming year. So hopefully, whatever caused them to delay it a whole year will help make it better. There's the Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, looks interesting as hell.
Is that VR only? Is that VR only? I think it is.
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it was VR only.
I don't think Darktide was. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
Is Darktide like Vermintide with guns?
Yeah, it looks like Vermintide, but 40K, basically.
Right.
So it's on the Xbox and Steam, so it's not going to be VR on, because it'll definitely, at least it's not VR only, because it's going to be on the Xbox.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, good.
And Microsoft doesn't do VR, so at least not on the Xbox. Which I was surprised to find out today that apparently you can play, and it's supported through Game Pass. You can play Microsoft Flight Sim in VR, which I thought was interesting. I didn't realize that.
They added that like a month ago. Yeah, it's a very recent. Yeah. It's a very recent thing. And apparently, it works pretty well, from what I understand. But yeah, that's a very recent thing that just happened. Renzo in the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Renzo in the chat wants Rodina to get more content. That's not unfair. That one's moving slow, but it's moving. It's just moving real slow. But it's one guy. So I mean,
that's been moving for a long time.
At least 6 years? I don't remember the first time we had him on.
Man, I feel like he's been working on it for a lot longer, because I feel like I remember seeing something about that game like forever ago.
I'm gonna look it up. When was our first podcast of it?
But Rupert, yes, that's kind of the reason why I started watching Another Life, was because my dad was telling me about it, and he said Sackhoff was in it, and I was like, oh well, I think she's great. So yeah, it's been at least 7 years, Renzo. I know that for sure, but
7 years. Wow. Dear God. I think you're right. Dear Lord. Oh, we had the dev on just 2 years ago. That's funny. Between the Stars hit 1.10 this year, AC Wraith? I have no idea. That one's also been moving really slow. Just like almost Star Sector slow. Star Sector, again, that one's, I think it's a decade now. I think I got that one in 2010. But that one is...
No, Between the Stars, they've been getting updates every couple of months, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's Outriders? What is that? It says Memory League Death says Outriders is interesting. The hell is Outriders? Oh, it's a Square Enix game. What is that? Anyway. Oh, People Can Fly. Oh, right. It's coming out April 1st.
Good to see it.
Is it coming out April 1st? That's a. It says it's coming out April 1st, but I mean.
Yeah, Outriders does look interesting. I remember this now. Yeah, I am curious about Outriders.
Yeah, it's the folks who made Painkiller, which was amazing.
Yeah, you got any more of that? Sorry.
For me, what I'm looking forward to most is still Dying Light 2, more than anything else. That is what I can't wait for. And I hope it's coming out this year. We have no idea anymore. No. I mean, it'll give us time to finish the following, but who the heck knows when that one's coming out? I mean, we really don't know what the environment of 2020 is going to do to game development. It's probably slowed things down, you know.
Like, yeah, it's pretty much slowed a lot of things down industry wide, indie or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So that has we don't know the full ramifications of all of that yet.
Nope.
Oh, Deathloop comes out this year. I am curious about that.
What does?
And Deathloop. It's it's Bethesda Softworks is publishing it. It's got I think it's like 2 different protagonists you can switch between, if I'm not mistaken, a male and female character.
Oh, the folks who made Dishonored.
It's like
making this one.
Yeah, so it's like a time loop kind of thing. Oh. It looks really interesting. I'm actually really intrigued by it. I kind of want to check it out.
Oh, that's wish listed right there. You can pre-order it now, apparently. Though, like, who around us still pre-orders things? Like,
I do occasionally. It depends on what it is.
I'm trying to less. I will definitely pre-order Dying Light 2 when it comes if they do a thing, but I got burned by some things like Rage 2. I pre-ordered that. And
the pre-order market needs to come with a lot more. So that's the thing. In like the digital world, what's the point of pre-orders? Like, I agree with you, Brian. I think what if the pre-order market is to continue, what they need to do is they really need to ramp back up the exclusive content stuff. And I think that's what's been so great about like Steam's been doing the soundtrack stuff a lot more, which I think is great. But GOG with all of its classic stuff, man, like you buy a game, you'll get like, you know, wallpapers, manuals, some, you know, depending on what the game is, you'll get a lot of extra digital loot, so to speak. And I think besides in-game cosmetics, pre-orders and like collector's editions need more digital goodies of those kinds.
Yeah, give me behind the scenes stuff. Give me an expanded soundtrack. I
need a high res JPEG of a cloth map.
Yes,
it would be.
I'd be all right with that. I'd be okay with that.
Dude, I miss that shit.
Oh, like, God, right?
I miss cracking them in a box, and there's a big, thick, spiral bound manual in there. It just smells like new game.
And you're just gonna sit on the toilet and read it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of stuff is the kind of thing that a few companies still do. Like Limited Run Games still does physical releases with collector stuff in it.
Yeah. I'm still unsure how that works. Like, do they work with the actual developers on those things?
Oh, yeah. They do.
Yeah, they do.
Now, the one thing
with Limited Run Games, and then you contract them out to make the physical release, and then whatever physical goodies go with along with that. But it's specifically a limited run thing.
Yeah, now I hate the stuff where it's like, we have like the collector's edition, and it costs like $300 for a $60 game because it comes with this statue, right? And it's like, really? Nah. Give us all something cool, right? Well, have a physical edition, but I don't need like statues laying around my house because I'll look like Yang Ye's knickknack shelf, right? Have you noticed behind him when you watch his videos, he's got like tchotchke from all the developers, and that's like a marketing thing. Like you guys were talking about trailers and marketing and stuff. I hate the BS of the unboxing junk, especially like whenever they spend a shitload of money to send an Xbox in a refrigerator that looks like an Xbox to somebody and just so they can open it. And it's what the crap?
Yeah, that's the influencer world is definitely interesting, and I don't. It's definitely carved out its own marketplace. It's not a marketplace for me because that kind of stuff bugs me. But I do like the big unboxing of like the collector's editions of stuff that actually have those kinds of things. Like the other day, I was eyeballing an actual like unopened copy of what was that mech game? God, fuck, it's gonna kill me. Respawn made it. Titanfall.
Yeah.
So the first Titanfall had that mech like statue that you could get for the collector's edition, and there was like a really good priced like unopened like version of that online. I saw the other day, and I was thinking to myself, man, I would love to have that. But then I started like looking around my like little apartment that I live with my wife and my dog, and I'm like, where the hell?
Right.
Where the hell do I put that?
So how big was this statue? Was it like a foot tall or something?
It's big. It's not small, and it like lights up, and it's got like action figure guys that are like standing on its back and stuff like that. It was like a full 18 inches or something like that.
Okay, because I've seen like the Turbo Deluxe one that they sent out to game magazines, and that thing was like 3 feet tall. It was ridiculous.
That's not this, but like I have like Guild Wars 2 collector's edition, and that came with like a big, huge old action figure guy that's almost as big as my like Lego TIE Fighter that I have, like the like, collector's Lego TIE Fighter, like the really big one. So I mean, it's almost as big as that, right? Like I've got the EVE Online Second Decade collector's edition, which came with a Rifter frigate ship model that was also a 4-port USB hub.
Nice.
And the Rifter's such a great looking ship too. I don't even need it for the USB hub. It's just cool to sit on my desk as like a ship model.
Yeah. So like, Skylanders,
right?
Skylanders made a shitload of money, right? And then Nintendo was like, "Hey, we smell that money," and then they came out with Amiibos, right? Which is the same thing basically. And I am surprised deeply that there hasn't been like some kind of integration between physical toys and video games.
Like, that's already been done. Starlink.
Well,
yeah,
Starlink, and what was that other game that did it too? Not just the Amiibos, but there was Starlink. Oh, I guess you said it. Skylanders. My bad. Sorry. Yeah. I'm brain fart for a second.
Well, we can go all the way back to VHS and say Captain Power. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
made by the Babylon 5 guys.
Right.
Well, the other thing I was going to say was like I also have the statue of Malgus from Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO Collector's Edition sitting on my desk over here too. So, and he's a cool freaking thing to have sitting on your desk.
Imagine tying into the LucasArts debacle. Imagine if Disney had been on the ball whenever they like started making new Star Wars stuff, and they had actually built digital stuff into, like, I could buy a toy TIE Fighter that has a USB port on it and hook it to my PC or something. I don't know. You know,
sure.
It's like something could have went on with that.
Well,
the action figures alone.
Well, you want to know what it is now, though? Like, so the way, and we've talked, I think we've talked about this before, either on this podcast or our other podcasts we do, but we, the thing that I think that they're doing now is to try and get in with all the kids is they're putting in exclusive content like into Fortnite, or like with Star Wars specifically, like they have the Mandalorian in Fortnite now, so you can play as the Mandalorian in Fortnite, and you can get a lot of little like Star Wars in-game stuff. And then on top of that, speaking of EA, there's like the whole like Star Wars spin-off in The Sims, right? Like there's like all the Sims stuff now that has a whole bunch of Star Wars content in it. So instead of doing these other things, they're kind of just embedding their branding into the already like existing stuff that all the kids are playing, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like Star Trek putting all of its eggs in one basket with with Star Trek Online.
Well, instead of a physical toy, they make a digital toy.
Right, like
basically.
Yeah, like here, play with the Mandalorian and Fortnite. Like, hey, cool. And she's like, yeah, I'll be the Mando, and you'll be Master Chief, and we'll go around and we'll shoot all of the other people. Like, what if, hey man, what if like in some weird parallel universe, like the Mandalorian and like Master Chief like met up and like they were on this arena and then like they had to go and like try and kill like the only way to survive was to kill everybody else. Oh, Fortnite. Okay, never mind. I'm just saying, like, as a kid, you know, when you have action figures, you come up with this kind of crazy ass BS, and like they're just putting it into Fortnite. So,
yeah. So if you had like the Bluetooth enabled TIE fighter, but you could use it as a game controller, so you could play TIE fighter with your TIE fighter.
Right, Starlink.
Yeah, right. Kind of, basically. Well, yeah.
Not real. I mean, with Starlink, you had the ship that would snap onto your controller, and then you can pull the individual parts off and then hot swap them as you need to.
Yeah, right. It's too bad that we don't have AR glasses like the Magic Leap thing was supposed to be, where I don't, to do AR now you got to hold your phone up or whatever, and that's kind of dumb. But if you actually had AR where I could wear glasses but see the world, and then you could actually have like your action figures actually shoot lasers at each other, crazy. But can't do that yet.
I mean, pretty darn close though, because like when the Nintendo 3DS came out, they actually had an AR functionality to them. I don't know if people remember this, but they came with these like cards that you could place down on a table, and then you would use the 3DS's cameras on the backside of it, and it would view it in real space. And so like you're looking at it through the lens, and like like Mario would come out of like one of the pipes or whatever, and he would like throw fireballs at something. You could have him battle. Like you put another card down, and like a Goomba shows up, and he so.
Yeah. I mean, wait a minute.
My 2DS can still do that.
I recently saw something, and I really forgot about it until you said like you put a card down on the table, right? So I think it is like there's some of the Star Wars stuff, and then there's an app that goes with it that is AR. Because I remember seeing a guy that had like an AT-AT walking on the table, and he was like, "Yeah, this came with something that he bought." Right. And it was just like threw the card down on the table and the phone like scanned it. And it's like, remember on the PlayStation, they had Eye of Judgment. It was like Magic the Gathering, but then the monsters would actually like jump up out of the cards and fight each other like Star Wars chess. Yeah. Cool idea, by the way. Hey, LucasArts, first game that you need to make, Star Wars chess, playable on your kitchen table in AR. Get on it, please.
They need to bring back Star Wars Connect. That's really what they need to bring back somehow.
Do the trash compactor once again.
Do that.
See, Brian, I think they're just agree to disagree here on that
one. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to what else they might bring out. I know we keep looping back to this, but it's like the big news in gaming recently. Like, there's really not much else going on.
It's interesting that you say that. I was talking with he's a community member and a friend of mine, Mellified, about some of this stuff, and he was saying back when he was working for Blizzard in 2003, Blizzard put out a survey saying like if it was something along the lines, if a blank company put out a game, how likely would you be to like buy it? Like any game, like if blank company was to put out a game, how likely would you be to buy it? And he said, and this was 2003, and it was Blizzard got like 90-something% of like the top, like whatever, followed by LucasArts. So it was like, that's how hot at the time in 2003, both Blizzard and LucasArts were at putting out games that just like the name of those two companies alone were like generating a lot of people's interest. It'd be really interesting to see if the Lucasfilm games can kind of return back to. It's just I don't know. Maybe it was just like the time off that they needed to kind of like rebrand and reconsolidate all of the assets that LucasArts had to come forward with something new again. Because I know Disney kind of scrapped their Skylander stuff and like all of the Disney kind of games. Like I think the Disney Studio stuff is dead, right? Like didn't they like kill all that off or most of it at least?
I think so.
So
Yeah, I wonder, like, you rehydrate LucasArts, does that also rehydrate like all the IPs that were associated with it? So maybe
I mean, there are some of those IPs are still like in circulation. So I mean, there's still licensing agreements with Steam and GOG, for example, for a lot of those Star Wars things. But this is kind of giving me hope that maybe it can rehydrate even more. Like, let's bring more of those Lucasfilm games back out. Because I mean, you can get Full Throttle out there. You can get some of these other games that are actually still available in the digital like market space that they've kind of re-put out there. It'd be nice to see more of that stuff that used to be come back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, I wouldn't mind seeing, I know I'm kind of one of the few people, but I wouldn't mind seeing Battle for Naboo get a proper digital re-release. It definitely went under the radar for the time when it came out, but it was done by the same people who did the first Rogue Squadron, and it was a very similar game in its mechanics and gameplay. That I enjoyed it. So
yeah, I would love a PC port of Racer's Revenge. That's what I would love.
yes, I can agree with that. Yeah,
I would absolutely love that. That game is so freaking good.
that's one of the reasons I keep a PlayStation 2 emulator kicking around at all times. It's just never.
Yeah.
Well, you can play it. You can play it now on PC if you have the PS.
Oh God, the Now thing, the PS Now, or whatever it's called.
I think it's PS Now. You can play it. I do recommend if it'd probably be better off if you had a PlayStation controller to play with. But yeah, you can play it now.
Yeah, but PS Now is like what, $20 a month?
No, it's cheaper than that. I think it's like $5.
Okay. Oh, if $5 a month, that's actually worth talking about. But whenever it was $20 a month, given
it used to be,
the options that are available now, well, talking about stuff that are services that you subscribe to and then you stream games off of, right? And we got like PlayStation Now and the unmentionable thing from Google that we won't name, and then Xbox, right? And you get on Game Pass. The crazy thing that I'm seeing now is the At Games Legend arcade cabinet that you can buy. It's like $500, right? And then they have the pinball machine.
Yeah, there's a digital subscription service for that.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yes,
that's
and you
crazy.
You can freaking stream ROMs down to the box. Like, arcade machine in the living room has the Wi-Fi's, and I have a game library that is pretty big because I'm just pulling it down on demand. But hey, game ROM's like a couple of megs, right? Not a big deal. So that's cool. I hope it caches them, right? That would be nice.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't want to stream it.
Yeah, this company has a subscription service to like a library of a ridiculous amount of just arcade games in the cloud that you can download to this cabinet that you buy from them. It's fully licensed, fully like legit. So we're not talking about some like weird like Chinese knockoff thing here. And
the only thing that I don't dig is if you don't cache it and they take that offline, then you don't have that stuff anymore.
It's not like you're buying it to own it. I mean, the digital version, you don't really own it.
That's true.
You're only licensing to stream.
That's true, but if it was like the Nintendo eShop, right, where it's just like, hey, buck a ROM, get in here, they could still make $700 off of you if you wanted a full ROM set. Right?
That's fair.
So it's like, well, hey, buck a ROM, here we go. Like, I'll play Mappy for $1. Heck yeah. Yeah, and you kids go look up Mappy. It was a good game. Yeah, but I think that there's a lot of potential there because there's a lot of games, man, and like buck a ROM, let's go. And then the pinball tables too. The thing that's really interesting about the pinball tables is that they've got a deal going with what's their name, Farsight, or whoever the guys are that have the Williams license now for Williams Pinball. Because there is that whole meltdown, right, where it was like there was one company that made a pretty good pinball game, set up, and that's the one that you could still like get on your Android or whatever. But they lost the rights to all of those pinball tables. So if you owned them, you own them, but you can't buy them now, right? So there was like a big rush, like hurry up and buy them. And but then the other company got a hold of them, and they're making like reboots of them. But the stuff that they do, it's like, okay, you go on Steam and they have like Aliens pinball, Star Wars pinball. It's cool, but they have like too much crud going on the play field because they have embraced digital pinball. So that means that we can actually have like action figures running around inside the pinball machine, or, you know, weird stuff. Nah, I just want to play the damn pinball game like historically accurate. That would be great, right? So, but the original people that had the license for Williams stuff, actually, it was 1-to-1 with the old machine. These guys have kind of like added value / removed value to me.
No, I think it's added value, even though for some people it's not their thing.
Well,
it's still added value overall.
I just want a checkbox that says no, right? I want the exact arcade machine. We're good. And the other thing that
almost
goes
like different game modes, like, you know, play.
Well, and their stuff is meant to be played on a television or a monitor that you're sitting in front of, right? So it angles the table and gives it a 3D thing. Okay,
you can switch camera angles too, by the way.
Yeah, but I need a pure camera angle that is, because if I have an emulator pin MAME thing, then I have a legit like full size pinball table there, right? So the play surface is the TV, and I don't want anything done to that. I want it to be straight top down, you know, maybe a little bit of isometric to it or whatever, but make it as close to standing in front of the real pinball machine as possible. But I've seen people set their own stuff up, right? That's not these prefab things where they'll like put a PC in a box, install pin MAME, and it's, oh God, it's crazy. Like some of those things, but they got thousands of dollars in it at that point. But yeah, if you go buy a regular pinball table, go look them up. You're about $4,000 into a pinball table. So yeah, I guess, you know, digital's worth it at that point.
So looping back to this real quick, PS Now is $10 a month. It has a lot of games. There are some games I wish it had that it doesn't, like Burnout 3. I wish it had Burnout 3 or Midnight Club Los Angeles. So it's not like a complete library, but it's got a lot. It does have a lot, but it doesn't
AC
have
Wraith,
like everything.
You can play with an Xbox controller, but some of the PlayStation games that are out there that you can play require you to have the PlayStation 4 controller because of the motion stuff, the motion junk that they do. So
yeah, they really want you to have a PS4 controller. Yeah, they really do.
But a lot.
I mean, you could get one. You could get one for your PC, and it'll still work. Yeah,
you could. But I mean, for me, that'd be like the only thing I'd use on my PC. So it'd be like the one controller just for this one service that I don't always play. So it's a hard. But if you already have a PlayStation and like have a PC, it's totally worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, it totally is. Well, we should start wrapping up. It's been over an hour of nonsense.
Quick, before you turn back into a pumpkin.
We're gonna try and have a topic next week, y'all. It's just it's been too freaking crazy to come up with one, and I have sent out emails to potential guests, but I haven't heard anything. You know, holidays and such, I guess. But that's gonna do it for this episode. I think Thursday we're gonna return to Tempest for our LAN party. Yes. Is that what we're doing? Yeah, we haven't played Tempest in a while. We were talking about it the other day. Oh yeah, because someone came in our Discord. They found like a YouTube video we did like 4 years ago. Like, hey, do you guys still play Tempest? No.
Yeah, which triggered me to get
it. Yeah, and it does co-op for 3 people. So that's what we're going to be playing on Thursday. I hope I can get up early enough tomorrow to stream something. It's been a rough week, y'all. So I don't know if I'll be able to wake up tomorrow. I hope I can. But I want to thank you all for hanging out with us. Very active chat tonight. So that's always great to see. Thank you so much for hanging out with all of us. And we will see you next week with something more fun, maybe something more focused, if there's a big piece of news or something to talk about like there was this week. Or a topic. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll have fun with you guys regardless. Thank you for hanging out with us, y'all. Have a great one. Bye-bye.